Hi. I'm going to really enjoy myself with these videos by telling you the story behind the story. Today, I wrote a story about the Arch of Palmyra. The Arch of Palmyra no longer exists. It was a triumphal Roman arch, victory arch, that stood in front of the Temple of Baal in Palmyra, Syria for 1800 years. It was then destroyed last year by ISIS. They have this interesting hobby of destroying um, irreplaceable antique artifacts, particularly from other religions. It's actually incredibly painful to watch, so I'm not making light of it. Um, and they last year destroyed the site in Palmyra, Syria, which was an important archaeological site and one of the biggest tourist sites in Syria when Syria did attract tourists. Um, and ISIS destroyed it. They're actually on the way right now with more explosives to blast whatever remains into powder. There was an organization connected with Harvard University in Oxford that recreated the arch from photographs using 3D technology, printing technology, by recreating the arch in stone. Um, and at first, it seems very nice that they're doing this. Um, it would be nice if they did more things like this, but for some reason, they created the triumphal arch, and that was it. Um, they they had one showing during the UNESCO week, um, and it was last year in September, and it was last year, and they showed it in Trafalgar Square last April. Um, and it was a bit strange because this arch was stood in front of the Temple of Baal. Baal is also known as Bel. Um, and the day that they chose to display the replica in Trafalgar Square happened to be April 19th, which coincidentally was the major festival for worshiping Baal or Bel in a holiday called Beltane. In a strange coincidence. Something that I didn't write was that it was there was a lot of reaction, public reaction to that, saying, "Hey guys, what are you doing here?" And there was a planned second show, which was supposed to be in New York, and that was canceled. And then it wasn't. The show did go on, and the week after 911, they showed it again in New York City, within sight of where the Twin Towers used to stand, and they said it was a tribute to America. And it just seemed very strange to me that this would be a tribute to America. They could have used the same technology to create small models of the Twin Towers, or something like that. But instead, they bring a Roman victory arch to New York City. It just seemed very strange to me. Um, and even stranger, and now it's already not a coincidence, it's a little bit, it's got to be intentional. Um, they they showed it again. It turns out that um, Dubai loved this arch, and the Arab Emirates, and they jumped in on the project, obviously donating a lot of money. And this week, the World Government Summit opened to Dubai, and there was this really peculiar sight of the Arab Emirate leaders standing under the arch in jalabiyas and kafiyas, looking very nice. And it just seemed very strange to me. A Roman arch in Dubai. And I didn't see the connection. Why would the Arab Emirate like an arch? Why would they be attracted to the Roman culture. And I spoke to Rabbi Pinchas Winston, and for him it was very clear. And it's something that actually is under the surface that people should be aware of. I'm so not into New World Order stuff. I don't read it. I'm not up on it, which is actually why I didn't write about it in the article, because I just didn't think that in the time frame given I could do justice to that aspect of the story. But I mean, just this World Government Summit kind of freaks me out, because you have big leaders meeting and setting up agendas, and who knows? And they're led by the Arab Emirate, which, to be honest, I don't trust. Um, and Rabbi Winston pointed out that the within Islam is the agenda, the value to conquer the world, which is Roman. And they got it from Rome, and they got it from Edom. And there is this growing connection between the Vatican and the Arab world. And I don't have anything particularly against the Vatican. I'm very much a believer of, live and let live when it comes to religion, but very much live and let live. As long as it's life, I don't have a problem with it. But the Vatican, the Pope, who in many ways seems like a wonderful person, looked at Mahmoud Abbas, who calls for Palestinian children to stab Israelis, and he said, "Oh, he's an angel of peace." That kind of confused me. There is a Vatican embassy in East Jerusalem to the Palestinian Authority, which doesn't exist. There's a Palestinian embassy in the Vatican City. He visited Iran. This is a person who has called, who has called for the destruction of Israel and America. These are all very disturbing things. So I think that there is more than just a connection between what we refer to as Edom or Esav, their world global agenda, and the Arab world. And something that I didn't write, that I discussed with some people, was the fact that you can also see it because why does someone want to rule the world? And the World Government Summit was not about conquering the world and enslaving people. They honestly believe they're doing good. They have agendas to fix the world, humanitarian agendas. But in fact, they're not the first. The Nazis, and I dislike raising it because it's so knee jerk and so like, oh, you're a Nazi. It's not. I feel that in some ways it lowers the intellectual level of the conversation. However, the Nazis were into improving the world, improving the human race, as were the Romans. They believed in a perfected human, perfected intellect, perfected body. They were not into kill everyone. They really felt that they had an agenda to improve the world, as did the Nazis, as did the Romans. And it's a horrifying comparison, but that isn't a concept of Messiah. They believe in bringing what you might call Messiah. And it disturbs me to call it that. Improving the world, fixing the world, humanitarian. But of course, the difference, and it's all the difference between that and the religious concept of Messiah, is that they do it out of ego. And Messiah is not ego. It's exactly the opposite. It's about not me, not myself, not my ego, not my intellect even. And it's why the academics always are, the intellectuals are always attracted to this because it's the Tower of Babel syndrome, where they believe in climbing to the heavens on the power of their own intellect. Um, Germany was the height of intelligentsia. They were the academics. If you wanted to be an academic, you had to speak German, because just as today people have to speak English, because it was the cultural center. And so this arch, this symbol of Rome's triumph, um, also the symbol of Baal, in front of the World Government Summit. It disturbs me. And I didn't think it would. It's too New World Order, conspiracy theory. But it's there. It's not made up. It's not even connecting the dots. It's just right there in front of you. And that bothers me. And it bothers me that it's not even being hidden. And this arch was made, as I said, by Harvard and Oxford. And this appealed to the Arab Emirates. And the academic atmosphere in America is very much attached to this fixing of the world through their intellect. They believe that their intellectual morals are the way to go. And as any person of faith knows, it's not about me. And what might look right to me, if my God does not say it's the right thing, I don't do it. The ultimate judge is the ultimate judge. And if I am hurting another person, that's not Messiah. Messiah is about fixing the world, but it's about fixing the world for the other person. It's not about fixing the world because I can, or because I have the power. I don't like conspiracy theories, but when I saw this, it was just too blatant. Um, and that was my story behind the story. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks.